The Jewel in the Crown of the Hexagonal East by Laura E. Sims. Published 2014. Copyright 2014, Laura E. Sims. Chapter 1. The freezing cold January air hit Olivia Maybone like a slap in the face as she walked out of work. She and Elliot Redwell had been working late, planning for tomorrow morning's lesson. It was past 9:30 p.m., and they had left because they thought they were ready. Otherwise, they would have worked on it more if necessary, even to past midnight. Olivia pulled her jacket a little closer around her shoulders. She laughed at something Elliot said. She enjoyed his company. It wasn't love. She didn't love him, not in that way at least. Their love was purely platonic, or at least she told herself. And anyway, it could never go any further now. She had a theory that Elliot was gay, although this had never been proved. He had not come out yet. She wasn't sure if he ever would. He put a friendly hand round her shoulders, and she leaned into him. The wind caught Olivia's caramel hair, and it whipped sharply around her face, and then streamed out behind her like a banner. "Look at that. A full moon," Olivia noted. "Very nice. Going to turn into a werewolf or something. Do you want to go for a drink? A wine down?" Elliot suggested. Olivia thought for a minute. She was tired, but a drink might wake her up a little. It had been a shit of a day, and if anything it might help her to forget. Or at least numb something she hadn't realized had been hurting. The pain had become almost like a friend. If that was taken away, she might well feel empty and lonely. She had even considered leaving the school, but it was putting the decision off to see if things improved. She had to give at least a term's notice anyway. "Okay, my car or yours?" Olivia asked. She reached for her handbag and made to extract her car keys. Elliot held her hand steady. "I'll drive. Yours will be a vodka, right?" "How did you guess?" Olivia's tone was teasing. "Premonition or intuition?" The smile was evident in Elliot's voice. The peals of her laughter were like wind chimes. The night was strangely silent for half a second longer. Time appeared to slow down and go in slow motion. If she had checked her watch, she would have seen every tick. The night was suddenly bright, and there was a loud ripping, screeching sound. A black shape appeared suddenly in the previously almost empty car park. Could she identify the make and model? No, not really. She might drive a car, but she was still a girl and didn't go in for cars. She was more blue than pink, but still kept as much as possible to her gender specifics/stereotypes. The headlights were blazing, and she felt like she had to shield her eyes. She looked down instead, her eyes focused on a strangely shaped piece of gravel. Elliot had taken a step off the pavement 30 seconds or so before the car had appeared. She heard the acceleration, but didn't dare look up. Maybe Elliot knew what was coming. Perhaps not. He felt for her hand, which was encased in her familiar pair of leather gloves. He squeezed gently, but firmly. Perhaps he meant it to be reassuring, but it most definitely wasn't. Therefore she felt it as the impact ripped his hand from hers. She looked up then. She had no choice. The scene she saw before her made her want to scream. It wasn't gory, deceptively not, but still nightmarish. She was frozen in shock. Her mind refused to accept what it was telling her. Elliot lay on the ground, having been struck so hard by the car that he had flown several feet into the air. She knew she should do something, but what? She knew the procedure. She had been on first aid courses. The school required that staff did a refresher every year. Her brain gave the message she wanted, but she was having trouble communicating this to her muscles. She dropped to her knees, but not gracefully. It was an automatic heavy thing. She crawled towards him, hesitating, not sure whether she wanted some kind of answer. She laid a hand on him. He was still warm to the touch. He would be for a while yet, even if he was dead. No, she couldn't think like that. He must be alive. He had to be. He wasn't breathing. He needed CPR to even stand a chance of staying alive. Grimacing slightly, she put her lips to his and breathed for him. She thumped on his chest, and it was a hollow sound. Possibly a useless action, the pessimistic voice in her said. "Step away from him, Miss Maybone." The voice behind her made her jump. She hadn't heard them approach. Her ears were strangely unreceptive at the moment, but what sent the shiver down her spine wasn't the winter air, but the fact that he knew her name. "He needs medical attention. We need an ambulance. Can you keep him breathing?" Olivia said absently.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?